Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Radiance Effect Podcast, where the goal is to help you shine from the inside out. I'm your host, Brittany Janelle. Let's get into it. Okay, you guys, I am so excited because this is the first episode of season 2. I cannot believe it because I feel like season 1 just ended, which it kind of really did, but we running it back. So, as we talk about today's title and theme, it's about unlearning survival. And that's so important because it not only sets the tone for this episode, but it sets the tone for the entire season, in which we're going to be diving into things like mental health, family, workplace, body image, all the things, y'all. And I am so excited to be kicking off this first episode with Brian Couplin. Hey, Brian.
Well, what's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing?
All right. So I actually have a bio for you. And I feel like it's kind of interesting because whenever somebody hears their own bio, they're like, that's me.
Yeah.
But we're going to pull it together. Brian Couplin is a Texas-based dual military veteran, mental health advocate, and people first leader. He served in both the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Army. Claps for that.
Two up.
And he is an alumni of Hampton University in Alabama A&M.
Come on.
Ryan is a human capital consultant and founder of Emotional Universe, a lifestyle brand focused on storytelling, self-reflection, and unlearning survival mode, which is perfect for what we're doing today. I love it.
I love it's loving enough. Come on.
He is also a proud member of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity,
Yep. Shout out to the bros.
that part. And he is committed to helping people move beyond survival-based thinking to reconnect with their true selves.
Yeah. Look at that. Well, that's me in a nutshell. There we go.
Yay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. How you feeling for today?
I'm feeling good. You know, we're gonna fight some of that anxiety, some of those emotional universe feelings that we have inside. Definitely excited to be here. I appreciate you having me for sure.
Absolutely. So even when we think about how this ended up forming, so I gotta tell the story real quick.
Yeah, please.
So Brian and I, we actually go to church together, y'all. And we didn't really have a relationship a couple months ago. And after church, I walked up to him and I was like, God told me that I need to connect with you.
Yeah.
And at that point, I didn't really know any of your background about being a mental health advocate, all the things. And I was like, this is what he's telling me that we need to talk about. And sure enough, the conversation started unfolding from there.
Yes, ma'am.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Yes. So as far as my whole goal, I'm very passionate about bridging the gap between men and women when it comes to how we communicate, how we understand each other. So that's what this is going to be about, as well as talking about healing, growth, and evolving.
Let's do it. I love it.
So I know one of the things that you mentioned is Emotional Universe. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I appreciate you giving me your platform. So Emotional Universe is a brand that I developed. Actually, I built it in the phases of depression. Got out the military and I was just in a space of just trying to figure out my purpose again. And I think a lot of people, especially when it comes to mental health, that's when it really hits. When you're trying to figure out why am I here? When you go by your day to day and someone tells you you can't do something anymore or your body physically can't do it, mentally do it, whatever those things might be, and you start realizing like you don't have self-worth anymore. You try to find that self-worth. And so I developed Emotional Universe based off of what I feel are like 5 pillars that everybody goes through. The first pillar is just trying to figure out your purpose, right? So as most people in America, like after a while, you know, you're partying, you're having fun, you're young, you're not thinking
All
about
the
those
things.
things. Like you don't think about what I want to be when I grow up. And even if you do, those things might defer. So after a while, you start looking at your circles, your people around you, and you're like, dang, like it seems like everybody's out here doing their thing, and I'm trying to figure out like what am I supposed to be doing? So I got out the military trying to figure out what was my purpose. And then as you try to figure out your purpose, that's when you start looking at your circles. Start looking at the people around you and you're realizing, dang, like Becky she got a promotion and John got a baby on the way. Like everybody's living in a job that you feel is their purpose, and you just start questioning yourself. And I think I was also in that space of questioning my self-worth, questioning where I was supposed to be in life. And then as you transition and you work through and try to figure out your purpose, then you start moving into a phase which I call ascent. That's when you start walking in your purpose. You're trying to navigate those things, looking at it, trying to figure out what makes you happy. What are things that come easy to you that might come hard the most? Um, and after you transition from, you know, that ascent space, you then transfer into the space of actually walking in purpose, where people just sit here and say, why haven't you been doing this? Like, this is something for you. And then after that, you move into a place which I call legacy. And that's when you finally are walking in a place that you feel or you deem is where you're supposed to be. So it's a 5 series hat volumes that I'm going to be dropping here in the next 2 months or so. So definitely look out for those. But in those, you'll be able to really kind of feel and see like the story behind each hat and what it may mean to you. I do believe we all live in our own individual emotional universes. People don't realize even if you're emotionless, most of your movements are built on emotion. Whether it's something that happened when you were younger, something that happened in your job, like something you did, something that happened in your life is led by an emotion.
Oh.
Whether it's anger, whether it's happiness, whether it's you just trying to find your purpose. All these things are emotions that people have to feel. And so for me, it was my job, I felt, to kind of find a purpose for myself, which is bringing more light to mental health, but bringing more light to the journey that people take while they're trying to navigate mental health.
Oh, okay, hold on. Because as you were talking, I just felt all the emotion. So emotional universe is it's a strong name. And you've already seen me cry. And I'm gonna tell you I was tearing up. I don't even know where it was coming from, but no, I do know. It's because I think about my own journey when it comes to mental health. Like a lot of people see me and I'm very like vibrant, very outgoing, but I've had to really work to overcome some things, which I know we'll dive into. And I'm so excited to talk to you about this and to think about where you start the journey, which usually gets pretty low and heavy, to where you end up growing. And the fact that you're able to take something that was once so painful and to turn into something so beautiful like that, like I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I definitely think you have to go through the growing pains sometimes. And I think hurt, it reprograms you. You know, unfortunately, people try to run away from fear and anguish and, hurt. But really, when you think about it, those are the times that you grow. Self-isolation, yeah, we hate it, but those are the times that you grow. When you start trying to figure out self-worth and who you are inside, that's when you grow. So yes, things can always go great and we always want those things, but appreciate when you're down, because reality is you're not going to stay there. So, yeah.
Clock that.
Clock that.
All right. And the background is very intentional, y'all. It's giving like fireside chat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about that. But we're just going to go ahead and warm the room a little more. So I have a few fun icebreakers for you. Okay. So the first one is called This or That.
All right.
So I know a few things about you, but I want the audience to get to know you a little bit better too. So it's going to be a this or that. And I want you to tell me why you selected. Okay. So the first one, hometown or Houston?
Ooh, Houston.
H-Town.
Yeah.
It's going down.
So originally hometown from Jersey. So for me, it's like anybody from the East Coast understands what it's like to be on the East Coast. I love the vibe. I love, the energy over there on my East Coast, but down south is just different. It's a lot more homely, a lot more friendly. As well as, to be fair, I also got away from that weather. So, they over there dealing with that snow right now.
Oof.
And we over here just chilling. A little bit of rain, but not too bad. So for me, I would definitely probably say Houston, just more so for the family vibes, the weather. I really feel like for me, it's like you want to be able to live life. And when you live down south financially, it's also just a little easier than living back on the East Coast. So I definitely probably lean on Houston right now.
Oh my gosh, I agree. So I'm a Midwest girly. Shout out to GR. I love Michigan, okay? But I'm like, Houston is home, right? From the culture to the vibes to the food, because we be eating good. That's another thing too. Like,
yeah.
All right. So next question, Greek life or solo experience?
Oh man. Oh, bros, don't be mad at me. Solo experience.
Really? That's
Jersey. Yeah. So, I love the Greek life and all the things that come with it, but sometimes, being okay with being with yourself, I think is the biggest flex. I think a lot of people, and I have lived in that space where you live through others. You need others to be able to be happy, to enjoy yourself, to have fun. So I feel like solo, whether it's going on trips, I would always recommend treat yourself to a staycation. Like doing things with yourself and being okay with being alone, I think is a great flex. And it's something that not everybody can do. It took me a long time to even be able to feel like, hey, I'm just happy with going out enjoying a meal by myself. Hey, I'm just happy with taking a trip alone. Hey, my birthday came up. I'm just going to do something alone instead of calling all the guys. Love the frat, love the community, but I think there's just something great about having that one with yourself and being honest with, who you are and where you want to be in life and just that reprogramming.
Okay, that's so good. And a couple things.
Yeah.
When you when you relocate, the isolation that you feel, that can really impact your mental health too.
You are?
But it's also when you grow the most.
Yes.
So for me personally, coming to a place where I didn't really know a lot of people, I was going out to restaurants by myself, to the movies, all the things.
Yeah.
And I remember for my 30th birthday, I took myself out, went to a nice restaurant, and the waiter was like, "It's your birthday, you here by yourself?" I'm like, "Is that a problem?" Like, I'm fine, right? But it's interesting because society sometimes looks at you crazy
Yeah.
if you're by yourself.
You are correct.
And that's something that we also need to work on changing and evolving from.
Yes, I agree. Like, there's nothing wrong with loving on you because honestly, no one's going to love on you harder than yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you not to have friends. I'm not telling you to separate. What I am telling you is make the time, just like you make the time for your friends, make the time for you.
Yeah.
If you out with your friends one weekend, take a weekend to yourself. Spend time with yourself because one, you'll learn a lot about yourself, but two, it's also good to just kind of reprogram and reset.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I agree. What are they? Pound it. All right. So this is the last one of this or that.
All right.
Military life or 9 to 5?
Ooh, military life.
Is that quick?
Military life.
Talk to me.
So for me, as all my friends would say, like I'm super structured. One thing I love about the military is, right place, on time, right uniform, you're good to go. And there's a progression. You know what you need to do to get promoted. You know what you need to do to get to the next step. There's opportunity there. Civilian sector, for me, what I struggled with is realizing it's the Wild Wild West out here. It's a lot of fake it till you make it. It's a lot of you got to be cool with this person to get by. Military is more so your actions will get you by. You could probably be the quiet person in the room, but as long as your PT is good and you're doing what you need to do, you can move ahead in the world. In civilian side, it's more so, hey, it's about you knowing all the higher ups, you knowing people, you shaking hands. It's about networking, honestly. And there's nothing wrong with the networking aspect, but there's some people out here who just are more so hard workers and they get the job done. And so for me, being a straight shooter, like I would definitely pick the military hands down just because again, it's structured. I know what I need to do to be where I need to be, and I don't have to think about it. Civilian sector, you can get fired tomorrow and you got to think about it. Military, as long as you do what you got to do, you good to go. So
Wow.
I would definitely say military. Plus the travel. You get to travel a lot too. So you got to travel on the military dime. You get to see some things, So I would also say the travel is totally different than the civilian sector. Now I'm currently, working from home, working remote. So, you're also secluded. You're not meeting people. You're not out and about. Even just your body function, you're kind of sitting down all day. Military, we out and about, we moving around, we're in the fields, we're doing all the things. And then you're always around camaraderie. So even when you feel alone, you're not alone. And a lot of people understand you. So I would definitely say military.
Okay, that was such a good answer. And just to take it a step further, because I'm sure there might be people that are listening who are either in the military or recently, retired from it. You've been out now for a few years. How are you able to make that transition, or what advice would you have for someone?
To be honest, I'm still transitioning.
Okay.
That is a part of my journey, honestly. I would definitely say, again, when you get out, take time with yourself to deprogram. I think a military, and there's no disrespect to anybody in the military themselves, but they do a lot of work of building you up, but they don't do the same work of breaking you back down when you come back to society. So, in the military, you were built to take on a mission. You're a soldier, a sailor, airman, whatever you are. There's a mission that needs to be done, and they build you up to be able to take those missions. As you come into the civilian world, that hard shell is no longer needed. And so being able to kind of decompress and realize like who you are, I joined at 18 years old. So for me, I was a child. And then so for me, 14 years later, after getting out, I realized like I never really understood like what I like to do for fun. Like I was ingrained in the military. And so like when I got out, I was just like, I didn't know, my knee from my elbow. I'm trying to figure it out. So I would definitely say anybody in the military, especially before you get out, start thinking of things you want to do. Start thinking about that degree before you get out. Start thinking about the jobs you want and then connecting with the civilian people that are doing those jobs before you get out. Because sometimes the grass isn't greener. Unfortunately, I got medically separated. However, I would still be in it if I, could physically handle those capabilities. But, I would definitely say like, if you're getting out or thinking about getting out, just make sure you have a plan like we do in the military. Make sure you take the time to decompress and transition because this world is definitely different than the world you're used to in the military.
Okay, hold on, because God did his big one for this to be your first podcast and you're just spitting out all these gems like that, like,
Don't put too much pressure.
come on now. And we haven't even gotten into like the meat of the conversation.
Pressure on me now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
So let's go on to our second icebreaker.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So this one is called Finish a Sentence. And this is where we're going to get a little bit deep.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being vulnerable as a man means.
Oh, man. Being vulnerable with a man.
As a man.
As a man. I'm so sorry. Being vulnerable as a man. I would definitely say that means that you have to be okay with losing people. I think as a man, we're structured to be providers, leaders, all the things. But reality is you have to be who you are and be happy with the fact that, hey, this is what I'm going to bend on and this is what I'm not going to bend on. And being okay to stand on your standards. I think nowadays we get stuck in social media or we get stuck on what men should be or how they should show up. When instead, sometimes you have to just be okay with seeing what is the good in someone. I think a lot of people, we look at the financial things and how you look on paper, and that's who you are. But in reality, there's some hidden gems out here within men and women, where in reality, they have so much more to provide. However, no one wants to go ahead and break the inside layers down. They look at the exterior, they look at the providing aspect of finances, which, let's also be honest, you can have all the money in the world and not be a provider. And they've realized like that's all they have. So for me, I would definitely say being okay with losing people, being okay with who you are and knowing that, yo, I know my value and I know what I could bring to someone.
Okay, so being vulnerable as a man to you means being okay with losing people. And how have you been able to handle that, like from your own experience? Like if there's been a time that you've actually had to lose someone and to really sit a little bit more into the emotion of how that felt for you.
Yeah. So I've been there. I felt it. And I think for me, it sits heavy because in reality, no one wants to lose close friends, relatives, loved ones. You don't want to. But in reality, you have to realize like they're just missing out on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's always reasons, right? So self-reflection. You have to be able to self-reflect and realize, why am I losing people? Was it a me thing? Or is it that we just phased out because people outgrow each other? People evolve. People needs are different. People wants are different. So for me, it was just like, it affected me. But when I started realizing like, hey, like God doesn't play about me. He going to put the right people around me. He going to put the people that I need to be in my corner. And then when he separates people, it's for a reason, whether it's better for you or it's better for me. And I have to sometimes be okay with that. So being vulnerable, to me is also just being able to let go. A lot of men, we hold on to so much, i.e. losing people. You question yourself as a man when you lose that relationship that you felt you put a lot of work into, or that job that you felt you put a lot of work into. When in reality, sometimes you have to look in the mirror and realize, was it me? Or is it just our time to separate and we have just evolved and went two different directions?
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna keep things moving a little bit because once we get into the actual main topic, we're gonna be spitfiring these questions. But oh my gosh, that just gave me so many thoughts. So thanks for sharing that. A feeling that I'm still learning how to sit with presently.
Being emotionally vulnerable. I think we have to normalize as men crying. We have to normalize as men saying, hey, I'm not okay. We have to normalize as men saying, hey, like something's off. And I think we as men internalize a lot. We take in a lot because we don't want to seem weak. You don't want to cry because, again, the wrong woman can weaponize those things. And I'm not saying it's all women, but the wrong person can weaponize, men or women, can weaponize, your emotions. So a lot of men hide them things. But in reality, a lot of men are more emotional than what you think. A lot of men deal with a lot of things internally that they might check in with their homeboy, that real close friend with, and then keep it guarded from everybody else. So I would say the emotional vulnerability of just being okay with crying, being okay with telling people I'm not okay, being okay with giving feedback to let someone know like, hey, I didn't like what you did. I need a moment. Let me digest, but I just want to run that through you. Instead of just walking in lies where you're just telling people I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because what that means? Everybody's going to keep doing the same thing because you said you was okay. So being okay with being vulnerable with your emotions, telling people like, nah, I'm not okay. I didn't like that. Or, hey, like, I'm not in a good headspace. Or, hey, I know you want to pour into me right now, but my cup is empty.
Oh my gosh. And I want to take a moment to speak to the women about what you just said about women weaponizing when men are vulnerable, right? Because one thing that I've learned as a woman is that it's so powerful that when a man is being open and vulnerable with you, that you're acknowledging those feelings and you're encouraging it, right? Because I've met some women who will talk down on men because they cry or they show emotion. And it's like, okay, well, then when they change and they're cold or unavailable, now it's an issue. So I really commend that. And that's something we're going to dive into a little bit more when we talk about bridging the gap, because as a man, you should feel like you're able to show up in society and express yourself.
You are correct, and be okay with it. To your point, I think a lot of people don't realize the power of the tongue, and they'd also realize, men and women, but more so men. If a man is over there talking and he's expressing himself, women listen, because there's going to be a point in time where he's just going to say he's okay, and he's not going to tell you anything. So if there's that one opportunity you see where you catch that tear, that one opportunity you catch where it's just like, yo, he's pouring into me, don't weaponize it. Lean on that, nurture that. As his support system, nurture him, see what's going on with him, because to be honest, that could have been his one chance to see or be vulnerable, and you might miss it just because you expected him to just be okay, or you're looking at him like, what you crying for?
Yeah.
You might miss that train and you may never come back. So if you see the opportunity, take it, women, for sure.
And one thing too, not to be surface level. So you're really good with this because we talked about it, but when you text, you're like, okay, how are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you really?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's so much value in that, because a lot of times people can just say, I'm doing okay. But no, like, let's be real. Like, let's dive into it a little bit more. Like, let's connect the dots, because a lot of times we operate in society just going day by day, but not actually building relationships with people.
You are correct. You never know what somebody's holding. And so for me being, I would say a strong friend to a lot of my friends, a lot of people would just call me because I'm a semi-strong friend. It's just like, they just start unloading. I answer the phone and it's just like going, word vomit. And sometimes, you have to be able to first, before you go ahead and drop your luggage off on somebody, do a check first. Hey, how are you doing? Have the basic conversation. How are you? Where's your mental at? Do you have the bandwidth? I've got something going on. Because I feel like we normalize just kind of pouring into our friends, not realizing some of them just don't have the bandwidth, or maybe dealing with the same things you're dealing with, but you never asked. You unloaded all of your trauma, all of your issues, all of your problems on them, but not once asked them, hey, how are you? Or, hey, you know what? I apologize. I unloaded a lot on you, and I never asked you, how are you doing? Are you good? Is there anything you want to talk about? Like, is there anything you need to get off your chest? It should be a yin and a yang. You should be able to go ahead and, as they pour into you, realize, oh, this person is here for me. Let me go ahead and make sure I pour into them. Are you okay? And it's something very simple that you can do. I really don't like starting, a lot of conversations off with just jumping into my problems. I more so want to check on you first before I unload, because you might not have the bandwidth. And that also means that person might not be able to show up for you like you need them to. So that means you might need to put that on hold or find another of your good friends.
Yeah.
So you have to understand the bandwidth.
That's really good. And for someone who's typically the strong friend, I don't know if you've experienced this, but my own experience is it pushed me more into my people pleasing mindset.
Yeah.
Because I was someone like, Brittany, you got to show up this way. I know you're going through different things, but you got to suck this up because you need to be that person that you normally are.
You are correct.
And as I've been going through my own healing journey, I know I shared this with you last year when I went through a breakup and all the feelings were just coming. And I'm like, I'm usually used to just pushing past this, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I was healing, because I was allowing myself to sit in it and to be able to set boundaries and say, hey, look, I'm working through my own right now. So just give me some time.
Give me some time. And that's okay too. Letting people know. And that goes back to your self-worth.
Yeah.
Letting people know, like, hey, look, I just need a moment. It's not you. It's me. I need a moment. I just need to get my thoughts. But you know what? I'm going to follow up and actually follow up. A lot of people just go ghost. And that's where people start worrying. That's when people start blowing you up and getting on your case. No, just say, hey, I just need a couple of days. Let me get my thoughts together, and then actually follow up and say, hey, I appreciate you following up or checking on me. This is what's going on, because now you've thought about your issues and you can actually authenticate, I'm not talking out of emotion anymore. I'm talking out of logic. And I think there's also a big difference between emotion and logic. So taking the time to logically think about your emotions so that you can articulate it so people can give you the right help that you need is most important.
That part. I'm just giving it a little clap for you, because come on, sir.
Oh, don't change it.
Listen, and that was just the icebreaker, y'all, just to give you a little taste of what's about to go down. So, on to my favorite part, which is let's get into it. So, just to kind of give you a little bit of a backstory, which you don't know, but I actually reached out to males that I know, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be interviewing a man. This is what we're talking about. Like, what are some things that is passionate to you that you would want to talk about when it comes to your own emotional and mental health?"
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of these questions
From the guy.
are from
Well, let me see what I can do for y'all.
yes.
Try. Let me try.
Yes, so I cannot wait. And just to let you know, the categories of these questions are tied to mental health and emotional well-being, relationships and bridging the gap, which we talked about, Black men and cultural expectations,
Okay.
healing and growth, and so forth.
Okay.
So we're just gonna go ahead and dive in.
Let's do it.
So the first question: how has your own journey with mental health shaped the way you advocate for other men?
Oh man. Honestly, it makes me feel better because reality is I know that there are so many men that's wearing this camouflage. There's so many men that are just like, yo, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. But then we talk to them on a one-on-one. Hey, bro, let's go to lunch. You had a one. How's your wife doing? How are you doing? How's your mental health? How's the kids? How's work? When you really take them on that one-on-one, you have those conversations, you realize there's so much to unpack. And not all the times because they go into their households. Not saying they don't have that trust in their women, but sometimes it's hard to be vulnerable with your woman and be the man of the house and take care of the kids and come to work and do all the things. And then also, not all women, but when you don't have a safe space to really come home and tell your wife, like, baby, I'm not okay. Baby, I had a long day. I'm not feeling it. Baby, I got some stuff with me. If you don't have that space where you can unpack, it really sits on your heart. So I realized that a lot of men actually deal with symptoms of mental health. They just hide it and mask it because society won't allow them to be who they are. Society won't allow you to be the sensitive guy. Society won't allow you to be the lover. Everybody wants to be the tough guy. That's the thing that, sells on Instagram right now is just like everyone wants to see someone getting beat up or the hate, the fight, the shooting, all the things. But you speak positivity, there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
You post things on social media about being positive, you might get 5 or 10 likes, but then you post some drama you in, you got 300, you going viral, all the views, all. So it's like being able to kind of normalize, like, hey, bro, like, it's okay. And having a person, it doesn't have to be a lot of guys, but someone that you can pour into to kind of really get off your chest, like, hey, bro, I'm not okay. And these are my ideas. Can we bounce them off of each other? Help me navigate, lead me. So for me, when it comes to men, I lean into them because I realize so much that we hide and mask so much just because we want to be the provider. We want to seem strong. We want to seem like we got it together. In reality, some men really don't. And they just need to go ahead and nurture that young man that's inside of them that they never nurtured when they were younger. And now they're an adult. And it's too late to nurture that young boy. So it's like, yo, you got to look inside yourself. Nurture that young boy that you still got inside of you. Heal from him.
Okay, so I know Brian is speaking from his own perspective. So this might not be all men, but we're going to hear your opinions for sure. So you mentioned about a lot of times men have a hard time being vulnerable in different spaces, but it's good to be able to connect with other men. Do men have struggles when it comes to connecting with other men vulnerably?
For sure.
Okay, because I usually hear it with women.
Yeah. And honestly, we could go back and forth on that because in my head, it seems easy for women. Why I say that is because, you can go out, you got that outfit on. It's like, oh, girl, look at you, your hair, oh, your makeup. Y'all easily have natural things to connect with. You walk up to a man at the bar and it's like, hey, I like your jacket.
They might look at you like, why you compliment?
Thank you. But it don't lead to much, where it's more so women, y'all have more things that y'all can kind of relate on. With men, you don't know what you're getting into until you have deep conversation. Y'all, and again, women, don't beat me up, but I feel like it's a lot of the physical with y'all when it comes to each other, because y'all can support each other physically, and that opens up conversations just about each other, where you're from, all the things. With men, it's very hard unless it's over like some type of sports or athletes or athletics or something of the sort. It's kind of hard to just kind of pour in and just meet natural guys. So I would definitely say, like, it is not as easy as people make it seem to, especially as you get older. You start to want to be around certain people that, you want to, emulate, or you want to be around people that are kind of like you, or people that you can grow from. And sometimes a lot of men, we are the tip of our spears when it comes to our friend group. And where I always say is that you need to be in the middle of your friend group. You need to have friends beneath you that you're pulling up to kind of get them up to where you are. You need to have friends that are already ahead of you to kind of lean into you to teach you how to get to where you want to be.
About that. Okay, so I was recently listening to a podcast. I believe it was Tyrese Gibson, and he made a comment like, if I go out to eat with someone and if I sit with them for 3 hours and if I don't get a takeaway from them,
Yeah.
they're the wrong circle.
Yep.
And that really kind of changed my whole perspective on how I see people and who I'm like allowing to be in that group. Because if I don't feel differently after spending and investing time with you, then that's kind of telling for me too. And I think like that's something that can help people overall, like even when it comes to connecting and learning yourself. Because when I've been able to spend time with people who have a different mindset, I've been able to truly learn who Brittany is.
You are correct. I think that's a great analogy, especially if simple fact is, and it's not always just needing something from someone, but being able, to your point, to take something to learn about yourself from their story. You're like, dang, like that person deals with what I deal with.
Yeah.
And then they're talking how through they navigated it, and you're just like, dang,
Yeah.
maybe I should try that. So it always isn't more so a monetary thing where they're teaching you how to live life, but sometimes it's a mental thing that you've learned through their story that you can add to your story or your toolkit to kind of walk you through an issue that you're going through.
That part. All right, I know we talked about your military experience earlier, so I wanted to ask you a question if you're open to it.
Yeah, what's up?
What didn't you realize that you were carrying with you after service? I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but just dive a little deeper.
So I would say something that I struggled with after service was community. I didn't realize how much community was important until I got out. So when you're in the military, you're always around people. As soon as you sign into your front desk, your S1, wherever you at, it's like you're immediately put into your unit. People are naturally just connecting because you're around each other all day, every day. You're working together, y'all staying in the barracks, all the things. So you naturally build community. And so when I got out, I moved to Houston. I had a job. I moved here. And then I'm like, I had 2 friends in the city, one in Houston, one in Dallas at the time. And that was all I had. And, for me, it was like, they're living their lives, I'm living mine. But I realized how important it was to have more community because you can't just pour from just 2 people sometimes. You need to be able to pour from different people. You not use, but have different connections with people that pour into your life on different sectors. And so for me, I would say something I was carrying when I got out was realizing how important community is, how important it is to have a circle where you can lean on when things are going dark or when things are up. You have people to celebrate. I think honestly, everybody in life wants to feel celebrated. Everyone wants to feel like they're on top of the world. And who does that better than your family and your close friends? So it's like we're having that community, having those people that you can kind of, I just bought a house and everybody comes and they pop the bottle or they pray over it or, they take you out or, it's your birthday and they come and they travel from far and wide. Y'all go overseas, maybe do a travel group with your friends once a year, once a quarter, whatever those things are. Being able to have community is so important. Life is too short to want to do it alone. And it's not always about having a companion. It's sometimes just about having people around you that will pick you up when you need to be picked up, but you're there to pick them up when they need to be picked up. And then also when things are up, you got people to kind of keep you up.
Yeah.
Community is important. I don't think people realize how important it is.
It's so interesting that you say that because my friend and I were actually recently talking about that, in which we've experienced individuals in our friend group who will at times be down because they don't necessarily have the community, but they're not always the ones who are forthcoming when it comes to being that person that they want from other people.
Yeah.
And that's something that I also had to reflect on too, right? Like the community that I want individuals that are going to show up for me. I want individuals that are going to celebrate me. I want individuals that are going to support me.
Right.
But am I doing that for other people?
Right.
And I feel like that's the first thing that we should start by doing is to reflect internally on how we are and to put that out in the atmosphere and how we're showing up for ourselves and other people.
You are correct. And if that person truly cares about you, giving them that feedback.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't know how you need them to show up for you. So saying, hey, bro, look, I know you're busy, but I need to see you, bro. Can we go do a lunch? Like, I got some on my chest I need to get off.
Yeah.
Hey, me and wifey, things ain't going well. Like, I just need to talk to somebody. Hey, work, I need to talk to somebody. So giving that feedback is also super important. Being able to have those friends that you can just be like, bro, I got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's definitely important.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Next one.
Yeah, yeah.
Black men.
Mhm.
Okay. Now you know we black. I will say that this is also men in general, from my understanding, but Black men and cultural expectations. I've heard that men often feel pressure to provide, protect, and perform. And sometimes it seems like their worth is measured by what they do instead of who they are. How does that impact their mental health and their sense of identity?
Yeah, so, I would say it impacts men differently, right? So it really matters on what you can provide. So unfortunately, men that have the money and have those things, most of them sometimes they don't see it because they have it. But the moment it's taken away from you, I promise you, you'll see it. Money for some reason or another is how people, gravitate or determine your value, how much you can provide, the financial. But reality is when it comes to men, bro, it's not always about that. It's about your personal values. It truly is about who you are as a man and what you think you can provide and what you know you can provide and standing on that. I think we as men, too many times, we sit on our internal depressions trying to mask what America wants us to be, when in reality, there's some good men out there who are just in their sowing stage. They're sowing season. They're trying to figure it out. They have all the love, affection, and things that women ask for, but right now, job-wise, they might be in between jobs. Career-wise, like myself at one point in time, I was top of the world in the military. When I got out, I had to figure it out. I was at my low, trying to find the money, trying to find the job. So it's just like realizing, like, bro, there's so much more to you than what you can provide financially. And women have to also understand. And as most people, even as I get older, I've realized, like, yo, money comes and goes. But when you have a genuine person in your corner, that's something you got to hold on to because you don't meet those every day. God forbid you find the beautiful woman or the husband, the attractive husband, and something happens to them and they don't look the same. But that personality is what's going to hold you,
Yeah.
lock you down. So it's realizing just being happy with your values, bro, and realizing like money doesn't, yeah, it's cool. Like, yeah, you need it. You do need it to be a provider in some sort, but don't let that just be your focal point where that's all you're made up to be. Most when they introduce themselves, they say their name, and they usually start with what they do for work.
Yeah.
Because they want to already set a standard or a precedence of, hey,
This is who I am.
Hey, I got it. I'm good. I'm a big man on campus.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. And reality is, and that's a status thing. Like you want to let women know, like, hey, like I can provide because this is my title. And reality is we have to stop normalizing your title as a way to just say who you are. Show who you are. I think sometimes that outweighs it all. And obviously, people will agree or disagree. A lot of people, again, are big on the money thing. But for me, it's like, if you take all the money away, can you really enjoy that person? Can you
Yeah.
with that person? Can y'all have fun? Y'all don't have no money, the electricity out. Can y'all go ahead and have fun in the house, build a fort? In the living room, make some peanut butter and jelly, call it a day.
Flashlight.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's just something you do every day, but you got to go back to having fun and realizing like, what would we do if we didn't have money? But we do.
And so here's the thing where I feel like we need to take a deeper dive into what it means to provide.
Right.
Because for me, when I think about a man, obviously it's a natural financial things,
Right.
but can you provide for me spiritually, right? Can you be someone that pushes me and challenges me to get closer to the Lord? Can you provide for me emotionally and create a safe space in which I can communicate with you vulnerably as well? Because I've dated emotionally unavailable men. And that's traumatizing. Let me tell you. So it's like those are deeper things that I wish that men would also focus on outside of the financials because it's more than just what you can provide paper wise.
You are correct. And I think honestly that's a problem with society today in general. It's about what you can give.
Yeah.
People, when it comes to self-worth, I truly believe like you have to dictate your self-worth before the world around you dictate it for you.
Yeah.
And in reality, when I said it, I'm saying like you have to be okay with realizing like, hey, baby, this is something I'm happy work-wise. This is what I am. But I'm emotionally there for you. You're not gonna have to want for things and all those. Like I'm here for you. I feel like with jobs, you can get a new job, but can you get someone who's emotionally available? Can you find someone who's emotionally healed? Can you find someone that's gonna love on you, pray over you? Are you gonna find someone that's when things are going bad, let's say you sore or whatever, could pick you up and put you in the bed and nurture you back to health? Are you gonna find those are things that aren't easily found nowadays. But anybody can throw a bunch of money at you and say, go on a shopping spree, you'll be all right. Love is not dictated by just what somebody can financially do for you. Love is deeper than that. It's deeper than truly if someone can really pick you up at your darkest times when there is no money that's included.
Mm, that is so powerful because we've talked about this,
Yeah.
but in a previous relationship, I struggled because I was with someone who was doing that,
Yeah.
right? And I don't really want to fault him too much because I feel that he felt that he was doing what was needed, but we weren't able to connect consistently emotionally in the way that I needed, right? And I feel like that's something society pushes. Can you buy me a bag?
Yep.
Because a lot of women do require that too,
They require
right? So I feel like we as women need to set a different standard on how we're showing up and what we're expecting from our mates.
I agree. And, it's funny that you say that because if you really think about it, a lot of these men, most of them are living in single family or grew up in single family households. So what do you think? Who do you think raised them?
Mm-hmm.
Women. So while you guys are expecting these things, you also are teaching your sons, hey, you better not let that girl use you.
Yeah.
You better not sit out there and go get that bag, son.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the girls are going to come. Don't let no girl get in the way. But these are the same women who are then on social medias and all the things stating like, hey, if you don't got this amount of money, if you're not doing these things, like,
you came and holler at me.
Right. But you guys are y'all are basically developing your own demise because you're creating these young men and telling them, because this is my son, hey, you better not let this woman use you. You do you, king. And then on the back end, you have women over there diminishing men for not being able to stand on those same values that they would teach their sons. So it's kind of contradictory in my eyes. Don't beat me up, women, but in my eyes.
And I know this is a sidebar, but something else that we've talked about. Sometimes women, men will look at men who are providing in healthy ways and call that corny.
Yeah.
Or they're talked down on it. So it's like it could just cause, if you're not secure in yourself, it can cause so many insecurities and make you think that you need to conform to a society that's not healthy.
You are correct.
And that's the biggest thing that we need to work on.
And not look at it like it's an attack. Not everything is a tit for tat thing.
Yeah.
Not everything is an attack. And I think that's where we also tend to normalize is that when a man says, for example, the 50-50 conversation, right? I was listening to a podcast, dude was like, hey, my wife, if I'm paying the rent, she's paying utilities. If I go ahead and pay for dinner, she's tipping the guy. Like, and the women, they hopped in, well, you don't go half and half on the baby. Your body doesn't get destroyed and all the things. But that's not what that man was talking about. He was talking about, hey, me and my wife, we were a unit and we developed together. And even though people they hate the word 50-50, you really look at it, they weren't 50-50. He's paying the mortgage, you're paying the utilities. He's paying the meal, you're tipping the person. So reality is it's really not 50-50. It's really about being 100-100 with your partner and being okay with that.
Talk to him.
I'm just saying, people hate the 50-50, but 50-50 isn't always, again, 50-50. It's more so, hey, we're deciding to do things together.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, babe, I'm taking care of the mortgage. You got the rent. I mean, you got the utilities.
Yeah.
You're doing it together. You're still winning on the end, women. So you have to realize what the win is, because reality is, would you rather a man take care of the house and you take care of your utilities, or you take care of the house and utilities by yourself? Because that's another thing. Women want those things, but reality is, would you rather be 100-100, you taking care of everything? Or you having someone who's like, hey, baby, I got you. I see you. You go ahead and take care of the utilities. I take care of the house. Like I got you. So it's definitely deeper than that for sure.
Because we're on relationships, and we'll just be up here talking all day. So we all, man, it's such a good topic. But to keep it moving on the relationship topic, a lot of times people settle in relationships without even realizing it. Sometimes it can be tied to parts of ourselves that haven't fully healed. From your perspective, how do men's past experiences influence their approach to love?
Oh my God, it literally it happens more than what you think, right? So when you're a child, you see what love looks like most of the time through your parents. And most of the time you have a lot of men, broken households, or one parent was there, one parent was not. And then you also have some men that are, but I guarantee you there will be a difference between a man that was growing up in a family household compared to a man that was growing up in a broken household. There's going to be a difference between a man that grew up having everything, and there's going to be a difference between a man who grew up in the hood. So reality is like your past really dictates how you show up. Even as something as simple as being a father. Most men who their dad wasn't in their lives, they want to be great fathers when they actually are a father, because they know what it feels like to not have a father. Most men, if you watched abuse and your mom was getting abused when you were younger, most men, when they grow up, they're huge against abuse and all those things, but could also be a flip side, right? Where they are abusive because that's all they see. So your past really dictates how you grow up as a person. That's why I went back to what I was saying earlier about that little man in your head. Sometimes you got to be okay with sitting with yourself and realizing I need to heal from the trauma that I did see, what wasn't right. Because you know right from wrong. You know when you saw your mom going through those things, how it made you feel. So why are you taking that same anger and implementing that on another woman? You know what I mean? We have to get to a point where people be like, hey, my childhood, my childhood. But I feel like once you're over 25, it's no longer your childhood, it's youth there, or ma'am. You have to do the work. You have to heal. You have to be the one that's like, yo, I know my childhood was janked up. I'm going to go take the time to go heal from that instead of just trying to act like it never happened.
You know, one thing that you're mentioning about your childhood. So for me, I grew up, thankfully, I had a two-parent household. My father was a provider, but he was always working, right? So he wasn't always emotionally there and available for me. So I grew to become someone who would allow myself to take whatever.
Yeah.
Just to have that type of connection because it's something that wasn't always there growing up.
Right.
And that's a realization that I had to come to even a few months ago because I was like, Brittany, what is it about you that's okay with people who aren't being consistent?
Right.
What is it about you that's like, okay, I'll just allow the bare minimum.
Right.
And in therapy, guys, I'm a firm believer in therapy. My therapist, she asked me, she was like, Brittany, why do you tolerate so much?
Right.
And it blew my mind because I was like, sis, you're right. Why do I tolerate so much? Right. So it was a whole reflection. And even to take it a step deeper and to connect it to realizing parts of myself that wasn't fully healed, I think about the actual relationship aspect and being in a romantic relationship and how that impacted me because I got to a place of being in fear of what's happened in the past. And I used to say, if this has happened in the past, it might happen in the future. So now I need to guard my heart and make sure that I'm not allowing anyone to hurt me. So have you experienced anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely have. I think, that is a barrier that I think we all have to break, right? It's like the fear of, do I protect my heart or do I allow someone in? And if I let them in, what will they do with my heart? If I let them in, will they love me for who I am? A lot of people are scared to truly show up for how they are up front. A lot of it's the facade. And then after, 4 months, 6 months, y'all are kicking it all the time. Now, all of a sudden, you want to start showing tidbits of yourself. And the people are like, wait a minute, who is this person? Who are you? So you have to be okay with yourself. You have to understand, like, let me look in the mirror and evaluate. So I applaud you for that because you realize, like, hey, like, maybe it isn't a them thing all the way. Maybe it's a me thing too. Let me figure out where I need to go ahead and do a little bit of the work.
Yeah. And that's something that I would encourage everyone who's listening to this to consider. Because we've had, again, transparent conversations about mental health, but I was someone who actually went through EMDR therapy, and that's something I recommend you looking up. But just in general, now I even do maintenance therapy, and I talk to my therapist at least once a month just because sometimes she's able to pick out things that I don't even think about. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm cool. There's nothing going on. But it helps me to dive deeper and truly get to know myself and to heal areas of myself that I didn't even know needed healing. So definitely recommend therapy.
Therapy for everybody.
Yes.
Especially now, because you just really never know. Even if you think you're okay, go. Because reality is there's something in your past that you can always unpack. There's a reason why, you're easily triggered. You're defensive. There's a reason why, you get angered quickly. Like all the things like these, there's always a reason. Find out what those reasons are, even if you think you're okay.
Yes. And because, I know how we started this and how we connected, we go to the same church and things like that. Therapy, of course, is also so important. But I also want to understand how your connection to God has empowered or impacted your healing journey.
Yeah. So I will honestly be honest to say, like, so I've been in church now 3 years. And so I can honestly say I grew up in the church, but once I was in the military, that was not my thing. Church that wasn't my ministry. And so now that I'm in church, I realize like there's so much unpacking that I needed to do, so much healing. And I think it came at the right time. I came here to Houston. I didn't have a lot of friends, I lost a good friend just in regards to we separated just because it was time. So all the things that I went through, I realized like, hey, like I need to take some time with me. When you start losing people in your life and God starts isolating you, there's a reason. there's some sowing and some growing that comes with that. And so for me, at first I used to fight it because I wanted to be, to your point, like you were saying earlier, be there for everybody.
Yeah.
Try to be the friend's friend. Try to support everyone. Like, yeah, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I got my things with me, but all my friends know, like, I'll lay on the sword for you.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, once I realized, like, I started being siloed and taking that in and taking in church and connecting with my pastor and connecting with some of the men at church and even some of the women like yourself at church, I realized, like, hey, like, church is needed. You need that grounding,
Yeah.
and I'm not here to push church on anybody. You have to go when you're ready, because for a long time I wasn't ready either.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a moment in my time where things got really dark for me, really dark. And I'll just leave that there. And I realized I needed something else that no one else could provide.
Yeah.
And that is the spiritual connection that I feel like will hold any man down. Is
Yeah.
the fact that there's nothing wrong with getting on your knees and praying to the Almighty and having those conversations of saying, God, I have no idea what you're doing with me. I don't know why I'm in this space. Lead me.
Mhm.
God, hey, remove anybody that's in my life that shouldn't be, and fill it with love, prosperity, people that should be. And when you have those conversations, you'll literally start seeing things change.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with taking the silent moment and getting that connection with God and just having that moment with yourself. And even if you're not a churchgoer, that could be something as simple as reading a sermon, listen to a sermon there on podcast,
Yeah.
watching a sermon, getting into your good book, all different types of things. Church literally is where two or more people are together. So reality is, get somebody who's in church, just have a conversation at a coffee shop. Like, you have to have that connection with him and whatever that looks like. And it doesn't always have to look at the form of a church, but make sure you have that connection, because at the end of the day, we all gonna leave here one day.
That's right.
So have that conversation.
That's right. And I know how some of our conversations have gotten on one-on-one, so I was already prepared with this box of Kleenex.
Yeah.
And just when you were talking, I had to grab one for myself, and I already feel the tears about to come out, because I personally think about my own journey.
Right.
And it got dark. It got heavy. It got low. There's nothing like being in a space when you have always been there for people, and they walk away from you, and you don't know why. There's nothing like being hurt or being betrayed by someone that was supposed to care for you and protect you, and you don't know why or how it happened. And for me, my relationship with God grew stronger when I was going through the darkest times of my life, because I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it out. I didn't know why I was feeling anxious. I didn't know why I was feeling depressed. I didn't know, like, why I had all these thoughts in my head and all the things, right? It was so foreign for me because it wasn't me, you know? But once I was able to sit in those emotions and to lean and draw closer to God and have him work toward healing me, like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you and keep it 100. Based on my own childhood trauma, like, to sit and not have anxiety is an accomplishment.
You're correct.
So once I got to that space, I was like, oh my God, like, I will never not give him glory, honor, and praise because of what he's brought me through.
Yes.
I
I agree 100. And then something I'll leave you with is something my mentor once told me is, you have to look at your life like a number 2 pencil, right? So you come into this world, number 2 pencil, it's about 12 tool box. Y'all look the same.
Yeah.
You take that pencil out and you put it in that sharpener. So now you're being molded, right? No one talks about that pain that sharpener feels. They don't talk about, what they go through, right? It's just like, you just go through it. So we look at that as the life, the trials, the tribulations. You put your pencil in that sharpener. Now you're being sharpened. You're ready, right? And then it's ready to write. You write on that piece of paper and you make a mistake in life. You use your eraser. Now we all know that when you use an eraser, sometimes it doesn't erase everything. But there are things you try to write over it and it's still there. There's some things that you're able to erase completely, right? And as the pencil keeps going on, what happens? It gets dull. So now it's time to resharpen again. That's another trial that you're going through, where you got to go back in the sharpener and sharpen yourself again. And now you're at that point. And after a while, you realize there's going to come a point in time where the eraser is gone. Come a point in time where you can't sharpen that pencil no more. And that's when you're basically at the end of your life. Do you want to be at the end of your life to the point where you're looking back and you're like, wow, I did all this sharpening, I did all this erasing, and I'm still not complete, look at your life as the number 2 pencil. And as you're going through life, realize I got to go ahead and get sharpened. After a time, life's going to suck. Things are going to get dull again. I got to get back in there, get sharpened up again, go through trials. And there's things in life that you can erase. And there's things that are still a stain on your paper, but it's okay because at the end of the day, the day got to end. Shout out to Gorilla.
You said it best.
So yes, like look at your life as a number 2 pencil. I think that
Wow.
definitely helped me out a lot because it is true. You really go through trials and tribulations. You keep sharpening yourself, keep trying to erase issues. And sometimes there are issues that you can't erase no more.
Wow.
And you have to be okay with where you are.
Look at your life as a number 2 pencil.
Look at your life.
Come on, Algies. You better break it down real quick.
Trying to help out right quick, man.
Wow. Thank you so much. I just have one last question for you. If you could speak to your younger self or even to the man you are today, when it comes to your mental and emotional health, what are you most proud of?
I didn't stop. You know, I think there's a difference between confidence and self-worth. Confidence is basically you telling yourself you can do something. Self-worth is saying, I tried it, it did not work, but I'm still strong enough. I'm still good. And I think for me that hits so much because men try and strive to be so confident, but they don't have the self-worth when failure happens. Sometimes, and I've been there where it's like failure hits you and you're just like, it sucks. And, oh, I'm just not good enough. Oh my good, why God, why me? But reality is, brother, you're good enough, man. There's a reason why that thought was put into your head and nobody else's. Motion universe. There's a reason why this dream came into my head and not yours. You have to be okay with realizing like, hey, self-worth is key and it's okay to fail. Because when you fail, most times it just redirects you in another light that you never saw anyway. And most times when you fail and you go ahead and go that new direction, it puts you even further than what you would have been. So, you know, for me, I would say that was probably my biggest feat is not stopping. And even when I did take that second of stop, I took a breath and I got back on that track and kept going. So not stopping, man. If you got something going with, sky's the limit. And if a road bump hits you, there's probably a reason why. Self-evaluate, redirect, have the self-confidence, and realize like, hey, there's a reason why this didn't work.
What you just said, essentially don't quit, don't give up. And I just want to talk to the audience real quick based on what you just said. Because for me personally, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't someone who necessarily wanted to release this podcast because I was terrified it was uncomfortable. Even doing this episode, which I told you about some of the nerves even building up to it, but it's like it stayed within me. And for anyone listening, that goal, that dream that you have that just keeps you up at night, that keeps you pushing, keeps you wanting to just do more, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on the goal or the dream because the things that you're telling yourself or that other people are telling you, right? Keep pushing because there's so much in you and you're capable of so much.
I'm telling
you.
It starts up here, right?
It starts in your mind.
Anything else, you can work on the physical, but literally, if you don't have it up here, it was for nothing. You have to believe in yourself. And that's why I always say, take the time for yourself because your friends could push you all day. But if your friend leave you tomorrow, can you push yourself? Your parents leave you tomorrow, can you push yourself? That best friend, God forbid something happened to her or him, can you push yourself? It starts up here. You have to be mentally strong just as much as you're physically strong. That's why a lot of people go to the gym. You know, go to the gym, you can internalize your head. You could pick up weight, drop weight. Yes, physically you look great, but mentally you have to unpack up here. You have to build this up to make sure like, hey, even though things aren't going, I'm going to get through this. And if I feel that I'm at my lowest, hey, that means I can only go up from here.
And on that note, man, I don't even know what's going to happen with this, but this was such a great conversation. And like I said, we can keep talking all day, but I truly hope and I pray that the listeners got something from this. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to the first episode of season 2 of the Radiance Effect Podcast. Be sure to tune in to episodes every other Monday at 7 p.m. Until next time.
Catch y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Later.